right, so picture this with me. It's 9/11, and we're not just talking about the event itself, but about a whole other layer of the story. The guide dogs who were there inside the World Trade Center and how they led their humans to safety.
Yeah, it's incredible, right? We're looking at excerpts from the AKC and Wikipedia today to try and really understand what these dogs went through.
And it's not just surviving the towers collapsing, it's everything leading up to it. The chaos, the noise, the sheer terror. We're talking about Salty and Roselle, both Labrador retrievers, both trained guide dogs. Salty was partnered with Omar Rivera and Roselle with Michael Hinkson.
And they weren't like down the street, you know. They were up in those towers. Salty and Omar were on the 71st floor.
71st, man, and Roselle and Michael were even higher, weren't they?
78th floor. Can you imagine?
It's hard to even fathom. And then the impact. Just like that, their entire world is rocked. Literally.
You know, it makes you think about the sensory overload. We can barely handle that kind of stress. And these dogs, their senses are already amplified. The noise, the vibrations.
And
you
yet
know.
they didn't just lose it. They stayed calm, kept their handlers safe. That's got to be more than just training, right?
It's instinctual, too. Both Salty and Roselle, they immediately went into protection mode. That's what's so amazing about these working dogs.
So let's talk background a bit, because that's key here. Salty was trained by Guiding Eyes for the blind. This dog knew New York like the back of his paw, helping Omar navigate everything.
Subways, traffic, you name it. But Roselle, she was trained by guide dogs for the blind out in California. She was actually Michael's 5th guide dog.
Wow. So they've been through a lot together. That's a bond you don't just build overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Years of partnership. They had routines, understanding, and then 9/11 happens. Alarms are going off. People are panicking. It's chaos.
And in a way, this is what these dogs are prepped for, right? Not the disaster itself, but that
Yeah.
need to guide, to protect.
Their senses, already so heightened, are in overdrive. And they have a job to do. That's what they focus on.
Okay, so they're in this insane situation, right? And they know they have to get out. But it's not just about them, it's their handlers. These dogs, they're trained to avoid obstacles, to keep their humans safe. How do they even process all those people, the debris, all while trying to find a way down?
That's where their training goes to a whole other level, honestly. It's not just lead, it's navigate this constantly changing situation. I mean, think about it. You've got smoke-filled stairwells, panicked crowds, and the ground is practically shaking beneath their paws.
And they don't hesitate. In fact, there's that part in the articles about Roselle. She led Michael and like 30 other people with them down how many stairs?
1,463 steps.
1,463. That's incredible.
It really is. And you got to figure, those people seeing this dog, so calm, leading the way, that must have been a huge source of, like, trust in that moment. Every second counted.
Absolutely. Life or death, every decision. Didn't both dogs? They even led their humans over debris. The articles mentioned they got hit by falling stuff, too.
Yeah, and their instinct is still to protect their handler. That's what's wild. There's this quote from Michael Hinkson that always gets me. He said, Roselle being so calm, it helped him stay calm, too, amidst the panic.
So it wasn't just physical guidance, it was emotional support, too.
Exactly. It speaks to how deep that bond was. They relied on each other, way beyond the usual owner-dog thing.
So they managed to make it down this terrifying, chaotic descent. Then what? They get out of the towers, but it's not over, is it?
No, not even close. They escape, and then boom, the South Tower collapses.
Can you imagine feeling the ground shake again, all that dust and debris? How do you even know you're safe?
You don't. Not really. There's no time to just process it all. They had to get clear of the area and fast.
And that's where their stories change a bit, don't they?
Right, Salty's supervisor, Donna Enright, she was with them in the tower. She helped get them to safety.
What about Roselle and Michael? Where'd they go?
Roselle, she did what she was trained to do, led Michael to the subway. Think about that, the sensory overload, sirens, the smell of smoke, crowds everywhere.
I mean, the subway, that's got to be nuts, even without a disaster happening. All those people, the noise echoing around. And here they are, fresh out of this terrifying experience, still having to navigate it all.
It shows you the strength of that training and how deeply ingrained it is. They don't get to, like, clock out after a trauma, being a working dog. And for both of them, Salty and Roselle, after all that, they became symbols of hope.
For sure. Those images were everywhere. The reunions with their owners, it was like this bright spot in all that darkness.
And not just a flash in the pan. They got some serious recognition for their bravery. Both of them, Salty and Roselle, they were awarded the Dickin Medal.
Dickin Medal. Now that one rings a bell, but remind me what that is exactly.
Okay, so think of it like the highest honor for animal bravery. It's a British thing, actually, given
Okay.
by this group, the PDSA, and it's super rare for it to be awarded jointly to two animals at once.
So it wasn't just here in the US, it was international recognition. Wow. Talk about an impact.
Yeah, and Roselle, she didn't stop there. A few years later, in 2011, she was named American Hero Dog of the Year by American Humane.
Oh, wow.
They had this whole voting thing, over
Oh,
400,000 votes, cemented her place in history.
so well deserved, though. But their story, it's bigger than awards, isn't it? It's like it made people realize what service dogs really do every single day.
Totally. Michael Hinkson, Roselle's handler, he became a huge advocate for service dogs because of this. Wrote a whole book about it even. Thunder Dog, it's called.
It's like this horrible tragedy. It brought out this wave of understanding, appreciation for these amazing animals.
Exactly. And you have to wonder how many other Salties and Roselles are out there, just
Yeah.
doing their jobs, being companions, guides, maybe even saving lives without us ever knowing.
It makes you think about heroism, you know? It comes in all forms. Sometimes it's four-legged with a wagging tail. Salty and Roselle, their stories need to be told. They remind us of that bond between humans and animals, and the heroes we might not even realize are right there beside us. So, listener, next time you see a service dog, take a second. Think about what they do. Their story might surprise you, and I bet it's full of courage and dedication, just like the ones we've talked about today.